When I started out, I think starting as a buyer's agent was absolutely a great way for me to kind of dive into the industry. Buying a home, the first time I sat down and was able to hand over keys to a first time home buyer, that was it, right? Then you're sold. You're like, oh, this is the best thing ever.
Welcome to today's episode of In the Know with Blue Lakes Real Estate Group, where we talk about all things real estate. And today I am here with Christina Ballard-Dunklo. We're going to discover who she is. So Christina, tell us how you entered into this industry.
I entered in this industry probably roughly a little over 5 years ago now. And I had been in the same career for 20 years doing massage therapy at Munson. And the one thing that I knew that I loved about my job was the relationships and taking care of people and being a part of their lives. But it also got to a point where I knew that I was ready for something a little different, maybe a little something more challenging. My kids were older at this point, so I think the job that I had before allowed me to be able to be home with them when I needed to, and it was just time for a change. I had an opportunity to meet down with an agent, and that was the end of it.
So you kind of sat down with another agent, started talking about real estate. And what was it that really compelled you to make that shift? It's kind of a significant change.
I think anytime we make a move like that in our lives, it's very scary. But the relationship or the conversation that I had with the agent, we really clicked. And the more I started to research the industry, I mean, who doesn't love homes? And
Right.
right, I think just kind of starting that process of learning more about the industry, what it entailed, and knowing that I was still going to be able to develop the relationships that I had previously, it's just going to expand the people that I know and the people that I meet and still helping them. That's really how it began for me.
So I know your background is mostly servicing those who are looking to buy the homes, so acting as a buyer's agent.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about that because I hear you talk with your clients and I can really see and sense how important that relationship is in guiding them and making the right moves with them.
When I started out, I think starting as a buyer's agent was absolutely a great way for me to kind of dive into the industry. And where I was at, they had enough business to be able to kind of offload some of that onto me. And again, it's still relationship based and being a part of buying a home. The first time I sat down and was able to hand over keys to a first time home buyer, that was it, right? Then you're sold. You're like, oh, this is the best thing ever. For years, that's really what I did is just focused on the buying side of the transaction. And again, I just think it's a great platform to really learn. I think knowing obviously both sides has a benefit. And so I just got to a point where it was time for me to dive into the other side.
Yeah. So recently you made kind of a big move.
I did. I
So
did.
tell us about that.
Yeah. Again, I have a lot of great respect from where I came from. I learned a ton. And I think if we aren't making moves and we aren't kind of expanding, then we aren't really growing. And I think in this industry, we see that a lot. When I contacted you, when we sat down for the first time, I was really undecided. And I think in this industry, we can all feel that real estate can sometimes be a little lonely.
Yeah.
Especially when industry is slower and we're all like, oh my gosh, what are we all doing? And that also you reflect on, okay, what do I need to do to continue moving forward and be successful in this industry, which is not an easy thing to do. And when we sat down, I think when you're choosing a team and you're choosing where you want to plant your feet, it has to be a fit for everybody. It wasn't just me,
Right.
which I respected from you. You said to me, you might think that we're a good fit for you, but we get to help choose you.
Right. That culture is super important.
Super important. The energy that you feel amongst the people that you're with, I just think that's huge. And if you don't feel that, you aren't going to be successful. So I knew right away that this was the perfect fit for me. I was super excited about it, and it's been uphill since then.
It's a good team. It's a lot of fun. We can,
A lot of fun.
5 women, it can get a little crazy at times.
Yep.
But I think the coolest thing to watch from you was, like I said early on, understanding that you were primarily a buyer's agent, seeing those relationships that you've developed with so many of your clients that
Yep.
is continuing. But now watching you suddenly enter into that listing side and working with those who are interested in selling their homes has been huge. Yeah. And you've put up a lot of brand new homes on the market, and that's super exciting.
It is super
So you have
exciting. It's
totally
super exciting.
expanded.
And I think that's the hardest part is making that leap and what if I don't? And I think just having, some of those first kind of phone calls or making it happen and signing those first couple contracts, just like as a buyer's agent, when you sat down and did it, it's like, okay, let's go.
Right.
Right. And now I just feel like I can be that more successful knowing the buyer side as well as I do to now add this as well. I
I
still enjoy working with the buyers for sure.
I hear a lot of times people question the way that Blue Lakes Real Estate Group runs, and that there aren't specific just buyers agents and there aren't
Right.
specific just. I like the well-rounded team environment. I think we push each other to grow and get stronger
Yeah.
in our industry. And why limit to just one side or the other side?
Yeah.
And I love that everybody is so collaborative on the team and we're constantly working to try to challenge each other to get better and better at what we're doing.
To get better and better. That's right. What
And
do we do wrong on that one? And what do we got to do to make that better? And I
yeah,
think that for me, I knew I was never a solo agent for me. It's not that appealing to me. Maybe someday. I enjoy the collaborative conversations and being able to sit down at a table and go, well, what do you think about this number?
yeah,
And, this one, what do we do to move this one and push this one along? And again, relationship based. So now I have met 4 wonderful ladies
yeah, it's been
and
fun.
and it's been great. Yeah.
So where do you see yourself in 3 years from now?
It's a really good question. Obviously, still in the industry. I would like to think that I've grown that much more in my business. We still have a lot of children at home, so there's a lot of personal life things as well, and trying to make all of that work and shift together. And I have a lot of personal goals too in 3 years, and I think that drives you in your business. That is our why. That's my why. My why is my family,
Right,
and knowing what we have coming up in the next few years, I think it pushes us to get there and to be that successful. And by successful, it's not always just the dollars, right?
right.
Being successful is having the respect from your other agents. I think also is huge. I think as we all work together,
Yep,
having relationships with not just our team, including my previous team, still have relationships together. I think that gets missed a little bit in our industry.
right.
At the end of the day, we're all
Becomes more competitive than
yeah,
camaraderie to try to service our clients the best that we can.
correct.
So now that you have the listings and now that you have your buyers, what is the favorite or best part of it for you? Is it getting to the closing table? Is it the negotiations? Is it creating the open houses, which you
You
do
know,
an amazing job?
thank you. I can throw a really good party.
You can.
I think it's the start to finish. And we all have the ones that sometimes don't end up at the finish
Right.
line.
Unfortunately.
And those are the ones that actually I think pushes you even harder during your transaction because most of the time there's always something we can do to make it come together and sometimes it just doesn't. But I think it's the start to the finish, honestly. It's the whole process and some of them are more difficult than others. But I think at the end of the day the reward is the same. And it doesn't end at the closing table.
Yeah, the relationships continue
They
on.
continue on, and I have gained some great friendships over the years from my clients.
And we've had a lot of repeat business from
Yes.
friends and clients that you have serviced well. Well, we're certainly thrilled to have you as part of our team. And moving into summer is going to be extremely exciting. So much going on.
Yes. There's a lot to look forward to this summer and looking forward to it.
Excellent. So if you're interested in learning more about Blue Lakes Real Estate Group or connecting with any one of our agents, click the link below and we will talk to you soon.